Welcome back to another installment of r/nosleep. Today, all you arachnophobias out there, want to hear a spider story? This one is from C-Ham, like salty ham. Interesting name. The title, Manylegs. Let's dig in. Deep within an ancient wood of lofty silver fir, I found a grave. Time had weathered away the name, but there in the shallow recesses grew the striking violet lichen. There is a cure, a terrible cure, one that rattles and twists your bones, the old woman said. You need only find the lichen that seeks the dead. And so I did. I scraped it from the somber stone and stored it in my pouch, eager to return to my bedridden sister in the hut of the old hag. The pox had claimed her skin. For weeks I watched as she writhed in agony, begging for reprieve, but nothing I dare give her would suffice. Take me to the witch, she said one night through pain-induced delirium. The witch of the woods knows the way, the wordling way of old. Like all children, I knew the tale. I knew to stay out of that wood. But as I looked at the crumpled form of my kin, her eyes pale and hair black with sweat, I found no strength to deny her. Woven from twisted branches and covered in moss, the old woman's hut lay in a small forest clearing where the fog saw fit to settle. Not a bird sang here. The only sound was the cracking of a meager fire and the humming of the old woman who stoked it. Did you bring it, child? The old woman said. I think so, I replied. And the gold? You'll get the gold when she's better. It was a lie, of course. We did not have 2 pennies to rub together, much less her well-known fee. Stooped over the fire, she held back a knobbled hand. Quick, boy, the lichen. I must boil it for an hour, and the girl has little time. In the corner, my sister slept, her breath ragged and slow. Does it truly work? I asked, handing over the precious plant. If you are strong enough. And if not? The old woman turned. Her face was wrinkled and dirt had long settled in the creases. Gone was any remnant of beauty except for her eyes, like sapphires in starlight. As I said, it's a terrible cure. I waited at the foot of the bed while the woman prepared the draught, dabbing a damp cloth on my sister's brow. Stay with me, I prayed. She had been so full of life, which is the type of thing that is always said, but it was true. She loved climbing a twisted pine or dipping her toes in the ember flow while I swam. Never have I known someone so kind. And even though she detested spiders, on the principle of having far too many legs, she would cup them with her hands and shoo them outside. I don't think she would approve of this cure. There's magic in spider legs, my child, the old woman said as she reached for a shelf. Magic and chaos, both. Nestled deep in a shelf was a glass jar containing the biggest spider I've ever seen. Oh, that's I'd ever seen. I don't want to mess that up. It was a shiny black all over, except for the pale blue dot on its belly. Have you ever watched how they walk? How their spindly limbs snap to and fro, never moving, just appearing in a new position. Only evil things move like that. And make no mistake, child. This pox is evil too. But what is one madly to another? And with that, she opened the jar and yanked off a leg. Sent into a frenzy, the poor creature jolted and scrambled helplessly along the glass walls of its prison. And what does the lichen do? I asked. Is it evil as well? The old woman dropped the spider leg into the bubbling cup she held. No, not evil, she said and approached the bed. The pox seems to corrupt all life. And what is more alive than a plant that blooms in death? It needs only a passageway. She handed me the cup. Have her drink deep, child. She must drink it all. I lifted the foul-smelling concoction to my sister's lips. As soon as the first drops touched her tongue, her eyes shot open. She struggled, sputtering and gagging, but I ran my fingers through her hair to calm her. It'll make you better, I said. You have to trust me. The more I poured, the more panic set into her features. By the final drops, she was fighting me off with all feeble strength she had left, screaming my name, begging for me to stop. It hurts us, said a voice that was not hers. It was deep and guttural. You'll kill her. it shouted. "You'll kill us both, fool." "Every last drop," the old woman said, rushing to my side and tilting the cup more. Pay no mind." "Stop. We'll let her live, we swear," the voice begged. "We swear on the Nameless One." The last drop fell onto her thrashing tongue, and then there was silence. I waited out breathing for a signal of life, anything, any hint or whisper of movement, but she did not stir. She was gone. "I'm sorry, my child." The old woman placed her shriveled hand on my trembling shoulder. "She was too far gone." My eyes blurred with anger as bitter tears streamed down my cheeks. You said you'd save her, "I said it was a terrible cure," the witch said sternly. "And now you must go, but first, my gold." She held out her other hand as her fingers dug into my arm. "Get off," I screamed, batting her away. "I have no gold. I have nothing." "Very well." From within her cloak, she drew a cruel-looking dagger. "There are other things you can give me. An eye, perhaps. Many things call for an eye." I backed to the wall. There was no way out. She stood between me and the doorway. "Come now, child. I'll make it quick," she said as she stepped ever closer. "Stay away from me, you witch," I pleaded. "Don't touch me. Please." Snap. The sound stopped us both. From the bed came a horrid noise, like branches breaking in a storm. Silhouetted by an orange glow of dying fire, my sister arose. Long and emaciated were her many legs, and her head hung backward, 8 unblinking eyes with a violet glow. "No, that's impossible." But that was all she got out before my sister lunged. In a ravenous frenzy, she devoured the witch, ripping sinewy flesh from bone and painting the humble hut red. "Sarah?" My sister paused her feeding at the sound of my timid voice. Her limbs shambled about like a newborn deer as she dragged her blood-soaked hair across the floor. And in that moment, as I looked over her pitiful pox-covered flesh and into soulless eyes, I knew she was truly gone. I sprinted for the door, and as I tore through the woods, I could hear it give chase. It wailed like a mourning lover, and the pounding of its legs echoed through the trees as I reached the forest's edge. Plunging into the frigid waters of the ember flow, I swam towards home with all the strength I had left. I crawled up the bank, shivering and coughing, and when I looked back, it was watching from the other side. It dipped a tentative leg in the water and quickly pulled it back. Then, with frightening speed, it ran off into the murky darkness of the woods. I never went back to that wood. I never went looking for her, but she's out there, that much is certain. Some nights I hear her screams on the wind, though the doctor says it's all in my head. If you're ever in the woods and you hear Manylegs, make for the river. She never did learn to swim. Manylegs, wish death upon me, with blood in my eye, spider I can't see. That's good. It was good. Appreciate the story. Appreciate you listening. I've had a lot of awesome responses, a lot of awesome comments. I currently just launched on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Go check it out. If you don't have YouTube Premium and the feature to shut your screen off like when you're driving, these are awesome, non-distracting methods to still listen in. Yet again, I appreciate you. I am the Midgard Masochist. Farewell.